gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. Wednesday, August 20th. Thank you guys so much for joining us as we have officially hit the middle of the week. Football season, the college season kicking off in 3 days. A lot to get to on the show. So once again, thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. We thank you for that. If you're watching us later on YouTube, like a lot of people do, welcome. We appreciate that as well. Make sure you are subscribing to the show. And then if you have done that, tell a friend or two or 10 or 20 or as many as you can about what we're doing each and every day right here in the Quad Cities, Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, every weekday, 10 a.m. A lot of fun stuff to get to today and, of course, every day from my nice little loft at my house. So we are live on X once again as well. So if you're watching on X, thank you. X has been very good to us. And then, of course, you can check us out on all the podcasting platforms as well. Make sure you do that if you're out and about, if you're going for a run, working out, you drive all over the place, you need something to listen to. Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe, like, do all the things on the podcasting platforms as well. It is a Wednesday. The weather looks nicer. It was wild yesterday that so many schools were getting out early or not having school at all for the heat. And I think the high was 81 degrees. It was just nuts, but everybody back in school, everybody rocking and rolling. I know the Iowa side gets started next week, so they're still enjoying their last couple days of summer vacation before they start back for the school year as well. A big show today, a busy show today, a lot to get to. Coming up in a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by our good friend Jake Brend from Cyclone Fanatic. Jake is already in Ireland. Iowa State and Kansas State kick off the season, week 0 of the college football season from Ireland coming up on Saturday. So what happened is, because of the time difference, I really wanted to have Jake on the show. So what worked best for everybody was a 3 a.m. interview this morning. So I set my alarm for 7:40 and came up to the loft, fired things up. Jake was ready to rock, and we had a great conversation about what should be an amazing game coming up on Saturday. And he did a great job from Ireland of setting the mood, the tone of what it's going to be like on Saturday this week as well. The Cyclone fans that have already made their way over there. So Jake Brend coming up in a matter of moments from Ireland. I never thought I'd say that on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, but excited for that. I've been tracking down the IFL Coach of the Year for a while. We finally got him. Cory Ross will be on the show coming up in hour number 1 as well. Of course, the Wheelers ending a fantastic season on August 9th, about a week and a half ago, with a tough loss to Green Bay. Green Bay will play for an IFL championship this Saturday. The Wheelers, though, nothing to be ashamed of. A fantastic season, a memorable season, a historic season, a lot of individual honors as well. So we'll talk with Cory Ross about being the IFL Coach of the Year and also next season, because I don't think we're stopping anytime soon. I think this thing's continuing to move in a great direction, and I think even better things possibly for the Wheelers next season as well. We'll also continue our high school football previews. I've really enjoyed doing those. One, I love getting caught up with what each school is going to look like this year, each team, their expectations, all those kind of things. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. But it also introduces my show to each community as well, and I've appreciated the feedback, the kind words, people that didn't know that Off the Air was going on, but I previewed their school and they found out about it. So a great way for me to spread the word about Off the Air and also get people ready for high school football season. So today on the Illinois side of the river, we will talk with Newman head coach Mike LeMay about the comments, high expectations in Sterling once again with the Newman comments, and rightfully so. They return a lot of really good players. So we will chat about that coming up in hour number 2. And then also in hour number 2 as well, we'll go to and finish up the Davenport side. When it comes to all the Davenport schools, we've done Assumption and North and Central. We'll finish things off with Dominique Nunn from Davenport West. We'll check in on the Falcons and what they expect this season as well. So a full show to get to you today. If you missed yesterday's show, John Bowenkamp and Tom Kakert joined me. We looked at who will lead the Hawkeyes in statistical categories: rushing, receiving, touchdowns, sacks, interceptions, made all those predictions. So go check out yesterday's show as well. Jordan Delp on the show yesterday. Just landed an impressive recruiting class and some local players involved in it as well. So caught up with Jordan Delp, and then also we had our Bettendorf preview with Aaron Wiley. That was fun as well. So check out yesterday's show. If you missed our show Sunday, we were live from the Other Bar in Moline, teaming up with View from the West for a kickoff party, kind of getting everyone ready for the Illinois side of the river when it comes to high school football, and had a lot of fun guests. About 60, 70 people showed up, which was awesome. We were thrilled by that. Several coaches from all over the area. So check out that show from Sunday as well. While I'm talking high school football, I want to remind everyone that this Sunday, doors open at 5:30 down at the Botanical Center. It'll be the annual Western Big Six Coaches Banquet. Moving it from a Wednesday to a Sunday, I think it's a really good idea. Gives coaches a chance to get there and do it without having to worry about practice and handing things off and all of those things as well, with the season especially right around the corner. So get out there, get a great meal at the Botanical Center. You can get a ticket at the door. I get the opportunity to MC it. Really enjoy that. Love making fun of those guys. So it's a ton of fun. Gets you set up for the high school football season. So this Sunday night at 5:30 down at the Botanical Center in Rock Island, come join us and talk Western Big Six football. It should be a ton of fun. Coming up this week as well, tomorrow we'll have Chad Leistico on. Excited about that. Coming up on Friday, and also Ty Taylor tomorrow as well. So 2 really good guests already lined up for tomorrow. Friday, we got Pat Anger and a bunch more on Friday. And then I believe on Monday we'll be joined by, I guess, my coworker now, which doesn't seem normal because he's such a higher level. But Gary Dolphin, the voice of the Iowa football program, of Iowa athletics. Hoping to have him on the show Monday or Tuesday next week, probably Monday. So a lot to get to because college football season, yeah, it's here. We'll get to that in just a second. Some news and notes from around the world of sports before we get rocking and rolling. Good day for the Cubs. They won. They swept a pair from the first place Brewers, so they go from 9 back to 7 back. Kind of breathe some life into that a little bit. More importantly, wild card wise, they gained some ground there as well. I believe they're 4.5 back now in the wild card. So that is good news for them. They beat the Brewers 6-4 and then 4-1 in a day-night doubleheader. They'll be back at it tonight at 7 p.m. One more with the Brewers before they move on. And I don't think it's the last one with the Brewers. Don't quote me with that, but almost positive. Last one with the Brewers. Also, good news for the John Deere Classic yesterday. Not that it's anything surprising or anything like that, but the schedule set, the calendar set. Next year's John Deere Classic will be June 29th through July 5th. So July 4th will be that Saturday, which will be cool as well because there'll be a great concert, I'm sure, to celebrate the 4th of July and watch some great golf and all that kind of stuff. And then the 5th will be when we name a new John Deere Classic champion next season. And so next week as well, Andrew Lehman will be joining us on the show to get caught up on that. We'll kind of pick his brain about, maybe who the guest will be or the concerts might be. He's not going to tell us, but we'll have some fun with that. So that'll be fun next week as well. As we mentioned, we're 10 days from Iowa football. We're 9 days from Illinois football. We are 3 days 3 days until the start of the college football season, when Iowa State and Kansas State and Farmageddon will take center stage week 0 of the season from Ireland. And I got my butt up early this morning because I really, really wanted to chat with our Cyclone expert from Cyclone Fanatic, Jake Brend, about this week's game and this Saturday's game. But here's the thing, is he's over in Ireland, the difference in time and stuff. So I got my butt up at 3 a.m. in the morning. We got together and we talked a little Iowa State football. So from overseas to off the air with Matt Randazzo, Jake Brend, how are you, my friend? You are in Ireland. I don't know if you're tired. I don't know if you're jet lagged. I don't know if you're drunk, or all of the above. How are you, my friend?
A mix of all three. I'm awesome. I'm in Dublin for the first time. It is, when they say that the Guinness does taste different, they're right. It is. Don't get me wrong. I already like Guinness in America, but it is so much better when you're over here. It's a beautiful state. We haven't seen the countryside yet, outside of the plain for the most part, but the city is so cool. The buildings, pretty much all of them are older than our state. And they're all so cool. The structure's unreal. This is quite the experience.
No, absolutely. Take me through getting over there. I know you left on Monday. It's that whole jet lag thing where you guys stay awake, all those kind of things. We're recording this. I'm going to tell everybody that because I want to get some love for it too, because it's 3 a.m. our time. It's 9 a.m. I think over in Ireland. So take me through how you got over and how it's been for you when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we left Monday morning or Monday afternoon at 12:30 out of Des Moines, left the Philadelphia airport at 8:30 Philly time, and arrived here in Dublin at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. And I did all I could to try and sleep on the plane, and I didn't get any more than probably like an hour 15 of sleep. So I knew it was going to be a long day, but I powered through, stayed up all day Tuesday. And actually this isn't shocking. We were going to go to bed at 9. We went out for dinner, and then we ended up staying out at the pub until like 11.
There you go.
Got a second win and was able to stay up a little bit later. And I think now I'm on mostly Ireland time. There's probably 15% of me that still feels like it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but I got a good 8 hours of sleep last night, and we're ready to roll.
Oh, I love it. And I love that. Okay, so when you talk about experience that, and the players had to do the same thing, and it's not just a thing. It's not just a talking point. Like it's legitimately getting used to being over there and getting your sleep right and all that. You can tell firsthand that it is a thing. And Iowa State planned for that, didn't they? About getting ready for it and all those kind of things as well.
Yeah, Campbell has been talking about it like a madman since the tailgate tour back in May. And I'm sure he's read books about it. He's talked to NFL coaches about it. Nick Sirianni is an alum of the same college as Campbell, so he's got pretty good insight to a coach who's done it multiple times. And what Campbell's talked about a lot is he's more worried about the team coming back than he is for the game week 0. And I don't know exactly yet which is the hardest part, because the team hasn't left yet. The team won't get here until, I think they get here Thursday morning around 8 or 9.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to have to do the same thing that I did and try and stay up all day and go to bed that night. So they're only going to be in Dublin for all of Thursday, all of Friday, and then they're flying out after the game Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to try and be, I think they're going to try and be back in bed in Iowa. It'll probably be like 1 or 2 a.m. Saturday into Sunday, and then they're back on South Dakota schedule. So they have had so much preparation. Campbell has thought about this like a psycho, which is good, because it is one of those things where an 18, 19-year-old college kid is going to think, it doesn't matter. I'll just handle it. But they have been stressing it every single day this summer into fall camp. And now it's just about the actual execution of it and making sure that everyone is eating right and preparing their sleep right to be in the best shape possible for week 0.
Yeah, they're getting over there and making it, not say as short as possible, but they're not making this a vacation. A lot are. No. Fans are. Talk about that. It's not like you got to Ireland and you saw like Iowa State Nation waiting for you, waving their hands. But talk about the fans you have seen, and you can tell they're going to be there, and it should be a fun weekend for Iowa State fans. They're taking advantage of the vacation side of things, as they should.
Oh, absolutely. I said it, I think, on your show a couple months ago that it's going to feel like a bowl trip, and it does feel like a bowl trip. But once an hour, I still get that creeping feeling of, oh my gosh, Saturday is a massive, massive game. And then the anxiety starts to set in of how nervous I am for the game. But I'm separating the two trips. It's Tuesday through Friday is the vacation. Saturday, it's game day. I'm going to work. And I'm going to guess a lot of Cyclone fans kind of have that same mindset of it is a bowl game, and then they're going to show up and cheer loud on Saturday. I saw a big contingent in the airport, not surprisingly. There was a flight from Des Moines to Charlotte before we left Des Moines that got delayed. It was all Cyclone fans that were getting on a connection to Dublin and Charlotte. There was two trips to Philly, or 2 trips to Dublin out of Philly, both filled with Iowa State fans and a few K-State fans sprinkled in there. And then you get here, and then it's just tourists like no other. And you can't really go a half hour without seeing Iowa State or K-State fans walking around. And it's only going to get more and more. I have so many people that I know that are traveling the country right now on the countryside, and they're going to be getting to Dublin on Thursday and Friday. And there's going to be pep rallies, and there's certain Iowa State bars, and that's when it's going to be real fun when it's going to be a Cyclone takeover. I think they're expecting 15,000 Iowa State fans in Ireland.
Wow, that's amazing. Jake Brend from the Cyclone Fanatic joining me right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. I want to talk about the game itself here in a second and football itself, but I want you're doing a great job painting the atmosphere. And you mentioned it was like a bowl game. I would argue it's bigger than a bowl game. If depending on the bowl game, if that makes any sense.
Way bigger.
You know what I mean? Depending on the bowl game, if it makes any sense. Obviously, there's bowl games you can get to that are probably more. But with that being said, how are you guys, like when you're looking around and you're seeing things in there, you're balancing the two things. They're all about football and all of those kind of things. How do you think the team balances that as well? Because you mentioned it's easy for you to separate, tourists to football. Is that probably why they shortened the trip up and didn't make it a big trip for Iowa State to get there early in the week and all those kind of things as well?
Yeah, I think so. The way that this game sets up, usually it's the last game of the Big 12 season. So if you put it in those terms, they're treating this like it's a trip to Manhattan, but instead of driving 4 hours or taking a 35-minute flight, you've got to take a 8-hour flight or a 9-hour flight. And instead of being in Manhattan, Kansas, you have to be in this place you've never been before. And I would imagine that's hard for the players. And I'm sure the team is going to do some touristy stuff. Like they're not doing physical practice over here. There's going to be some walkthrough, a lot of film study, but there's going to be a few hours for recreation that I'm sure the team will get to go sightsee and stuff like that, which is good. You don't want to show up here, practice, lock them in their hotel rooms until game day. That wouldn't be good. So I'm sure they're finding a balance too, but it's probably not the balance that we're finding. I can't imagine Rocco Becht is out having Guinnesses with the locals like us media and fans are probably.
I love it. How much media is going over there? Do you expect to see a good contingency from? I mean, you probably know those guys. Is there anybody locally coming?
Yeah, there's actually a pretty good contingent locally from Iowa State and Des Moines media. a Des Moines Register guy. Ben Hutchins from your parts at the Quad City Times is coming over here. We've got 3 at Cyclone Fanatic. Chris Williams and Rob Gray are over. I think that's it for the beat writers, and then there's actually 2 TV stations coming over too.
No way.
KCCI sending 3 people. WHO's got David Warrington over here, so it's a pretty good contingent for like. There's more here than I'm sure will be in Fort Worth for the TCU game in November, and that's good because it's such a novel thing. There is so much more than the game. It's a fascinating news angle as well because you've got 15,000 Iowans that are leaving the local economy and they're all making this trip to a foreign country, and that's a big deal.
And the beauty thing is it's week 0. It's not like you're fighting coverage over you're not missing another game or an Iowa game or whatever to go over there.
Yep.
This is the biggest thing going nationally almost. I mean, when you get to Saturday, people are going to finally get to see college football, and it's going to be Iowa State and Kansas State. It should be a really cool thing. The rivalry itself, and it's funny, we had Scott Docterman on when he did his top 100 rivalries in college football, and it was awesome, and people were talking about it. But, Iowa State and Kansas State was on there. I can't remember exactly what number it was, but it was up there, and you look at it, and it's one of those things where they've played every year since 1917. 54, and I'm stealing this from you because I watch your stuff every day, but 54, 50, and 4 is the series. It's 2 of the odds-on favorites to win this year's Big 12 when you look at the group of teams that probably or possibly could win it. It's not just a game. It's one of the games on the Iowa State schedule. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but that's a big deal. I mean, this is a rivalry game of rivalry games, and it's over on the grandest stage with nobody else playing. That, I think, is what makes it more special than anything else.
Yeah, it is as big as it gets for a regular season Big 12 football game because, like you said, it's 2 of the top 5 odds-on favorites. Both Iowa State and K-State have played in a Big 12 championship game in the last 3 seasons. You've got name brands at quarterback and Rocco Becht and Avery Johnson. It's the longest continuous played rivalry game in America.
Yeah.
Dating back 108 years. And unfortunately, that's going to end next year, which just sucks.
Are you serious?
But, yeah, it's not on the schedule.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll see if it changes. I think Yormark said on a podcast recently that they're not completely tied to the schedule matrix and can make changes. But as of right now, there's no Farmageddon in 2026, which makes this even bigger in a way too. It's a big deal. And the fact that there's a lot of college football fans that are going to tune into this rivalry for the first time because there's going to be SEC football fans who in week 12 on rivalry weekend, they're watching their teams or they're watching their conference, and they've probably never even heard of Farmageddon if they're a casual football fan, and it's going to be on display for 5 million people to see. That's how many people watched Florida State, Georgia Tech last year, and I'd expect right around that number because people are hungry for football. There's been no Olympics. It's been a brutal August, and this is going to draw a big number, and that's a really good opportunity not only for the football programs but for the universities themselves to get their name out there and have some of the best marketing you possibly can.
And it is. You guys are, and Iowa State is center stage, and here we are with Matt Campbell. I think a known commodity in college football, obviously, but
yes,
doesn't get the national maybe love he should. I think nationally everybody knows who he is, respects and all that kind of stuff, but it's a way to put this product that he's built 10 years, Jake. This is year number 10 for Matt Campbell. It's so funny because, being on this side of the state, it was the success and it was, well, when is he going to leave? Like, when is he going to leave? When is he? And they weathered that storm of, he's not using this as a stepping stone for someplace else. This is where he wants to be. Talk about that national exposure that this coach, this program probably deserve that finally get maybe this weekend or get a chance to have this weekend.
Yeah, it's a spotlight for both programs, really. And I don't know what ESPN will do as far as history goes to show, hey guys, if you look at what Iowa State was before Matt Campbell and what they are now, it is unheard of, because I'm sure most people wouldn't care, wouldn't know that. And the same goes for K-State. You got to go back a little further before Bill Snyder. But these are historically two of the worst college football programs ever. And the fact that they're entering the season in the top 25, and it's not a surprise to anybody, is such a credit to Matt Campbell, to Bill Snyder, to Chris Kleiman. And I think that's why, above all else, that's why I like this rivalry so much. It's because of that mutual respect between Campbell and Kleiman, between the two programs, because they both know how hard it is to win at an ag school in the Midwest, when KU's got a lot more money than K-State in all facets, when Iowa's got a lot more money than Iowa State in all facets. It's an uphill climb being the second biggest school in a relatively small state, and the fact they're both in the top 25 is a cool deal. And that doesn't mean the teams are going to like each other either. But before the ball is kicked, I think deep down there's a very deep mutual respect.
No, absolutely. Jake Brend joining us from Ireland right here and Off There with Matt Randazzo. Didn't think I would get to say that in the first year of doing the show here in the Quad Cities, but I'm thrilled that I get to. Well, let's look at this. The main headline is the quarterbacks and Rocco Becht and what he's done. And so we'll talk about that one. Is it as simple as saying two of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12 are going head to head, and I don't want to say the better quarterback wins the game? It's not that simple, but that's the easy headline for this game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the easy headline, but I don't know how true it is. I think whichever quarterback has to do less wins this game, especially if it's Avery Johnson. If Avery's only got to throw the ball 20 times, K-State will win this game. If they're able to establish the run early, and if they're able to run the ball like they do against most teams, they should win. But the difference is K-State has struggled to run the ball against Iowa State, and there's no reason for that other than Iowa State just shows up when they play this game. Deuce Vaughn back in the day he'd be the leading rusher in the conference or the country, and he'd come in and run for 30 yards in that game, and that's how Iowa State would win. Is that going to happen again this year? I don't know. K-State's got a pretty inexperienced offensive line, but Dylan Edwards is a great running back. Iowa State's D-line is the biggest question mark on the roster, in my opinion. So that if Iowa State's able to stop the run and make Avery beat him with his arm, there is a really, really good shot of them winning the game. But if he's able to just be a game manager, use his legs, and make a few plays with his arms, I would like K-State.
Is there an underrated matchup on Saturday? A matchup that's off the radar a little bit that you're like, keep an eye on this? I'm curious. Is it special teams? Is it new wide receivers at Iowa State? Is it really good tight ends at Iowa State? What's that underrated matchup that maybe we haven't talked about or people aren't talking about that you're intrigued by come Saturday?
Yeah, one that I haven't talked about a ton would be the K-State wide receivers against the Iowa State D-backs. I thought Iowa State's secondary last year was, if not the biggest, probably the second biggest strength on their roster. And K-State kind of took it to them in Ames. Jace Brown scored like a 70-yard touchdown, beat Jeremiah Cooper, who's Iowa State's top returning safety. They just really got the best of them last year. And Iowa State's replacing a couple guys in the secondary. They've got two really, really good players returning, two all Big 12 players. But I'm intrigued to see how Iowa State responds to that last year, especially considering they're going to have a new cornerback in, and they're going to have two new starting safeties that were backups last year, trying to play against a really strong unit over there at K-State. And I'm fascinated to see how that matchup goes because I think both are big strengths for those programs.
Jake Brend joining us right now from Ireland on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A few more before I let you go. See the I'm so jealous. Like, I gotta get kids up here in about 3 hours, get them to school and all those kind of things, and you're living a good life. But it is 2 ranked teams, and you look at everybody wants to, they love the gambling side of things. I think Kansas State's a 3-point favorite, but it's 2 ranked teams. It should be a really good game. I think you're on record talking with us. You've picked Kansas State. Is that a pick? Is that
yes.
a thing? Kind of talk about your pick, your prediction, those kind of things heading into Saturday.
Yeah, it comes back to what I talked about earlier. It's just running the ball and stopping the run. I think Iowa State's got a decent chance of stopping the run, but the odds of them running the ball worry me. And that's not all because of Iowa State, but part of it is Iowa State has struggled a little bit to start the season running the ball, especially. Whether that's the O-line, whether that's the running back, that's just been a thing in the past that has tripped Iowa State up sometimes. And the other end of that spectrum is K-State maybe has the best front 7 in the conference. And that is going to be a tough task. But then you can also look at it. Iowa State ran the ball for 150 yards on them 12 months ago in Ames, and that is pretty much the same front 7 for K-State. So I don't know. And then they ran, Abu Sama ran for almost 300 yards on them in the snow a couple of years ago. So if Iowa State's able to go out there and run the ball for 125 yards, my prediction is going to be wrong. I'll just flat out say that. But I'm not extremely confident in Iowa State's ability to run the ball, and that's why I think K-State wins kind of a low-scoring game over in Dublin.
Jake, when you look at the rivalry, I wanted to kind of end maybe with that a little more. We've talked about it, but it seems it's not. It's a great rivalry, but there's not a lot of animosity or hate or anything like that. It's a respectful rivalry. I think you see that. Is it fan base wise? It seems like a fun rivalry, but a healthy, respectful rivalry. Is that safe to say?
I think so, especially in person. Online, like anything else, there's going to be some vitriol. And I would say on social media, I know a lot of Iowa State fans who hate K-State fans more than Iowa. But in person, I've never really gathered that. And a lot of that is because these aren't each other's exclusive rivals. It's not like it's not when Arkansas plays who's Arkansas's big rival, when Arkansas plays Tennessee, or when they don't have other big schools within their state. Mm-hmm. Like Iowa State's got Iowa, KU's got K-State, and vice versa. So that it's the secondary rival, and that there is some hate, but they're not sharing borders either. You don't go to work on Monday and run into a bunch of K-State fans like you do with the Cy-Hawk game. And that's why I think it is a pretty respectful rivalry. But then again, we're in Ireland, and we could see what happens after 12 Guinnesses. Hopefully there's no real hatred, but all jokes aside, it is such a great rivalry, and it's going to be a great visual on the TV on Saturday.
I don't want the Brend family getting thrown out at any pubs. I don't want you going to jail or anything, so behave yourself. But I do want to know, before I let you go, what does today look like for yourself and your family? And tell us what you get to do today. Like I just mentioned, I'm going to go get 2 more hours of sleep and then run kids around, do a show. What do you get? What's the itinerary look like for you guys today?
As of right now, the itinerary just looks like me getting my work done for the morning. So that'll take me about 2 hours. And then we're going to the Guinness factory this afternoon. And then I'm guessing we're going to do what we did last night and just take an Uber or taxi down to some district, some area, and walk around, look for a place that looks good to eat, and then see where it goes from there. That's how I love to do things. I don't like the vacations of at 4:45 we're going to be here, 5:30 we're going to be here. I just kind of like to go with the flow like we did last night, and we're going to do it again. And we've got some fun stuff planned the rest of the week, going out to the countryside on Thursday, and we've got a tour planned for those things. But for today, it's just go find some fish and chips, go find a lukewarm Guinness, and let's have some fun.
I was just going to say, is there food-wise something that you've had already or you're looking forward to having that you need to have while you're over there? I'm a food guy. I'm a fat food guy. So is it fish and chips?
I was a little worried just based off of what I've heard about not just Irish cuisine, but this entire United Kingdom area, because they're not known for the food. And it is a lot of seafood, but I had a pretty good wrap at lunch yesterday. I got some delicious, it wasn't completely clam chowder. It was clam chowder with a bunch of crab and shrimp in it. It was delicious.
Wow. Okay.
And it was also like the size of my shoulders. It was so much clam chowder. But I think for me, the safe thing is just going to be the fish and chips. They do it well up here. I'm a big seafood guy. And I'm probably not. Maybe one night I'll venture into like some true authentic Irish cuisine, but I haven't seen much that's too different than what we might see in America.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, so pub everything before we go. Cyclone Fanatic, you're working. I know we talked about having fun, but you are working. 3 of you guys are over there killing it. This is not a bash at the local stations here in the eastern side of the area, but like when I was at the stations the station I was at, this wasn't even an ask. So to get the coverage that you want if you're a Cyclone fan, Cyclone Fanatic is where it's at and all that kind of stuff. Tell me about what they can expect this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Cyclone Fanatic is definitely the place. I'm going to have 3 daily podcasts going up.
Wow.
Today, Thursday, Friday, about 10 minutes each, just showing you what you need to know. Might show some fun sights and sounds from Dublin. And then Saturday, that's where it's at. Saturday, we're going to have so much exclusive coverage. I'm going to be on the field shooting the game, going to have some highlights, going to have the best moments. We'll have all the post-game reaction, we'll have a pregame, halftime, and post-game podcast live on Cyclone Fanatic at YouTube. It's the place for Iowa State coverage. So get on over to CycloneFanatic.com, Cyclone Fanatic on YouTube, all that good stuff.
Jake Brend is on record as Iowa State losing Saturday. Here's to you being wrong, and I think you'll agree with that as well. Here's to you being wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. I can't always say that, but in this case, I definitely hope that I hope that I can be played on Cold Takes Exposed like no other on Saturday night and on Sunday.
I love it. They're gonna stop the run, and Iowa State's gonna run for 300 yards, and you're gonna eat your crow, and you're gonna love every bit of it. So, all right, my man. Well, I appreciate you. I owe you. I wanted to say owe you a beer, but like now that you're having Guinness all the time in Ireland, I don't know if that even comes close to what I owe you. So, I owe you. I continue to owe you. Have fun and enjoy the game on Saturday. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks for waking up at 2 a.m, Dazzo.
Hey, for you, my friend, anything. Plus, for the people. This is what the people want. So I appreciate you, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Dazzo.
All right. That is Jake Brend from the Cyclone Fanatic in Ireland, enjoying the countryside and a different country and all that kind of stuff, but getting ready for college football. It starts this Saturday. Kansas State, Iowa State. We'll keep talking about it throughout the week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coming up next, we're going to continue our high school football previews with a trip to Sterling and check in on the new Sterling Newman comments. That and more straight ahead right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. Quad City Steamwheelers season got done a couple weekends ago, but the Quad Cities are still buzzing. August 9th is when the season came to an end, but it was a record-setting season, a historic season, a memorable season, and the fruits of that labor continue to come in. This week, we were privileged to have a IFL Coach of the Year named right here in the Quad Cities. His name is a familiar face here. I'm on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Cory Ross joins me. Can I call you Mr. Coach of the Year, or can I still call you Cory?
You know, you can call me whatever you want, man.
I appreciate it. Hey, I know, and we're going to talk a lot about everything, but I do want to start with that. And I know you're modest. I know how much you value what your guys do, what your staff does, Destiny does, all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming to you that Coach of the Year thing, has your name on it, but it's probably a lot of people's hands in it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that without not only the staff that we have here, especially on the field and off the field, and most importantly, those players, I wouldn't be Coach of the Year. So it is a complete team effort, and I'm so proud to have had that happen this season for us as a unit. But like I said, it's been pretty cool to get it, but at the same time, it's like the other trophy would have felt a whole lot better, Yeah. So, but I mean, it is what it is. We had a great season, man. What I loved about it the most is we were able to give our fan base two extra games and one of the Eastern Conference Championship, which to me was lights out, the best game of my career since being here, man. And it was loud, it was crazy. I think we got some season ticket holders out of that, and just excited by where we can go from here and what the process needs to be in the offseason for us.
Absolutely. It's crazy because with the IFL Coach of the Year, not a lot of people win season awards after tearing their Achilles. I mean, come on, Coach. You physically and mentally grinded through the season. Let's go all the way back to that. It seems like forever ago. Maybe not for you because you still got a little bit of a wobble every time you go, but you're getting there. To go from that to the ups and downs of this season and everything like that, we talk about a journey all the time. It really was a journey, and one that was, I mean, not completely satisfying, but the coach of the year, the home playoff games, all that kind of stuff. Go back to that Achilles tear and now, and it was a heck of a ride, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the moment it happened, I completely was scared. Not necessarily of the surgery and things like that. I've been through surgeries in my career, so that doesn't bother me. But I did not know how this was going to help us moving forward. And so the nerves hit me right after he told me, yep, it's ruptured. I got to the room. I was completely still in utter shock. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? Because I can't coach from the sideline. We do have our walkie-talkies and our headset stuff that we incorporated this year more than we've ever had before, and that helped. But like I told you, like when I say it was a team effort, those guys buying into everything that I'm saying, because I couldn't show them what I was looking for as far as physically being able to get out there and show them what to do on a route. What I'm looking for and how to get in and out of breaks, things like that I normally usually do for the guys, I couldn't do. So just really listening to the words and really practicing on their own, like what people saw on that field was nowhere near how hard these guys were working just to, maintain and do the things that they needed to do in order to help me, be able to contribute on this team and do a great job at just, getting this offense rolling the way we ended up getting rolling towards this end of the season was everything that we were looking for. And so it was a testament to those guys. I'm telling you, like, I think I wrote something on Facebook in my social media, and I literally said I was just an orchestrator, these guys with the music, you know what I mean? Because they really were, you know what I mean? And it was just fun, truly fun, best group I was able to coach and just enjoy this season. So, yeah. Praying and hoping, I'm coming back and I can bring these guys back with me.
That offense was so fun. I mean, you look at that last game, they never stopped you. Well, I mean, a weird safety call that we'll talk about in a second and all that kind of stuff. Was there any time that you weren't? Did it feel like one of those things that, like, whatever you went to use, it worked well, and it wasn't like, and it was amazing to watch because it wasn't. And I mean, Jordan Vesey goes down in the third quarter, and you guys keep humming, and it was different weapons all the time. It wasn't a one-man show or a certain connection or anything like that. The amount of weapons and versatility of that offense truly was fun to watch. What was it like guiding it? Did you feel like, like it was almost a video game where you just picked the right play and it was working?
I will say this, that week of preparation for us was probably the best week we had. And I'm even talking about contributing. I'm big on being a coach that when I was a player, my input was very important to my coaches. And when there was a play that I liked or whatever I didn't like, I would voice it because they allowed me to. So in doing so, I've done that for our team. Once they started understanding how truly fun our playbook can be, then let's start talking about things we can do within the playbook. And we had a great week that week. And Quan Neal, which is special all year long. I think he locked in more than I've ever seen him lock in. Not saying that he doesn't lock in. He was locked in that week, and we were just communicating. This is going to be work. This is what we're going. And we piled up some of our best plays, and we just felt like we weren't going to be stopped in that game. And so whatever was happening, we were just like, score again. Let's go score again. Let's go score again. And so it was clicking like that. It really was clicking like that. And we were just calling some plays and with some of our analytics that really just hit home on what they were doing on certain downs and certain situations, it was just clicking for us and it was flowing for us and it was good. And then obviously there were some guys making some big plays, man, just making some big plays that needed to happen, whether they caught the ball and made a guy miss and took it, all the way to the house. It was one of those exciting games. And like I said, if you were a part of that and you were there, you got hooked for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Cory Ross is joining me right now and Off There with Matt Randazzo. You mentioned the offense was doing great things and yes, the system and the plays and all that kind of stuff is one side of it. But you look at the IFL, all conference teams or all league teams, I guess is the best way to put it. There's wheelers up and down on both sides, offensively and defensively. Talent helps, Coach, and
Oh, yeah.
and y'all had some talent this year. You got to be proud, and those guys have to be excited because their work was paid off with some awesome honors at the end of the year. And you sat here as a Quad City Steamwheeler fan, and like that Twitter account was humming. It was like the next picture came out. That had to be fun for you guys.
Yeah, it was, and that's what this league is about, right? You get these guys coming in here, getting the opportunities. I think the beauty part about everything was not only we had 3 rookies that make all-league rookie team, and so that's just a testament to one trying to go out there and find the right guys to recruit that can come make an immediate impact. And we had 3 that did, and David, Cagle, Kadir, and Kadir missed I believe Kadir Shepard missed about 7 games, but he played so well in those other 6 or so games to where they still voted him in there because he played so well. So and then obviously you have Chuck Chekwanecki. I don't want to kill his name, but Chris Chekwanecki, we call him Chuck. He was a cornerback for us, and he made it. So when you got 3 guys and that are complete rookies that make it, I always tell guys, like, whatever happens after their first year, the second year is where you take a bigger jump into really understanding this game and really just furthering your craft and getting yourself an opportunity to get out of here. So if we can get those 3 guys back and they get into a second year, I think they will truly enjoy what indoor football is, and I think they'll prosper big time.
Coach, the championship game is this weekend. I firmly believe y'all should be there. But I also believe this. The championship game was played at the Vibrant Arena on August 9th. I don't know who wins this weekend, but I walked away from that game going, if there's a better team in the IFL besides these 2 teams, like, sign me up to watch that team too, because, and no disrespect to the other side and the Western Conference champs, but is it wrong to feel that way? That was indoor football at a really, really high level between Green Bay and Quad Cities.
Yeah, they did a great job offensively, just trying to pick apart our defense as well. And their quarterback, Max Mailer, I think he made first team this year as well. Probably played his best football that I've seen him in the last 3 years play. And that just chemistry. They had chemistry. They had a lot of guys that returned and to come back and play. So they did a great job just pulling all those guys together and make sure they maximize the vet opportunity. And they did a good job, man. I think that anytime you play a team, as many times as we've played each other over the the last 3 or 4 years, and you can show up and have that type of crowd in that moment, and both teams make the Eastern Conference Championship, and it's going to be a battle, So I had this thought process going into the game where we were either going to really put a smacking on those guys, or it was going to be a close game. That's how confident we were, like, offensively. I felt like we were going to score at least 60 points. Yeah. We just needed to find out what defense was going to show up and who was going to get that stop, that one thing that, again, they had 2 big-time special teams plays that really put them over the hump. When you talk about the opening kickoff for a return, and then obviously the getting the ball back when it hit the upright, and which became a live ball. And they got that. It was able for them to go up 2 scores and made us have to work. But if you add special teams into that, they hammered us on special teams, and that's what really won the game for them.
No, absolutely. I just don't like those guys. I don't like them. I don't like Green Bay. I didn't like them after. I know you guys have a respectful rivalry and all that kind of stuff.
I don't like them anymore. Oh,
good. Because
I saw the confetti on our field. They used a little green confetti, and it sat there for about 3 or 4 days. I would walk to the office, and I kept seeing that green confetti. I was like, yeah, me and Green Bay, I'm kind of done with those guys.
I like that. I like to hear that because I got 4 boys at home that don't like Green Bay Packers. They don't like the Green Bay Blizzard. They just don't like anything about Green Bay. How do you build for next year? I know you had player exit interviews, all those kind of things, but I think. And it's hard to flip the page quickly after a loss like that. But, like, that's when we talked on the way home, myself and the boys, about, like, how good they can be and if guys come back and all those kind of things. We were already talking about next year. Do you start that process? And what is the process like leaving the building and heading into the off season?
Yeah, it's definitely something you talk about, especially when you do exit interviews. You kind of get an idea of what guys are thinking. Because a lot of these guys have lives when they go back home, families, kids, wives, jobs that they may want to jump into. So you one, you already know you got to get back to the drawing board. Regardless, you got to field the team. We got to get a roster together. But you want to find out where a lot of the guys you have right now are, and what their thought process is going into next season right away. So now you know what you need to do as far as transactions goes, things like that. So we had a great exit interviews this week, and tons of guys wanna come back and get it going again. So I give them about a week, and then after this championship game, I figure out how I'm gonna do what I'm going to do, and then we gotta sign guys back right away, because I don't want nobody poaching our guys, and come October 15th they'll be able to poach, or October 1st they'll be able to start poaching. So we want to make sure we get the guys that we want here, and they don't get to hear any whispers in anybody else's ear.
No,
so
I hear you. I hear you. Coach, a few more before I let you go. You look at this season, and we kind of talked before we started that it was different in a good way, and it wasn't like it's not always been good, because it's a great franchise, great organization, fan base is great, all that kind of stuff. It was just a little different this year in a really good way. Did you feel that? And I know we talked about it throughout the season, the maybe little extra numbers in crowds, but just the buzz around town was Steamwheeler football is an exciting product, and if I dare anybody to go watch a game and not want to go back to the next time. Did you feel that when it comes to a big picture of this franchise and where the Wheelers can go?
Absolutely. The one thing that I truly harp on, and it sounds like it's a little too much, but you can never not harp on it, is just creating the right culture. And it starts with being one up top, but also what we build here in front of each other as a unit when we're in these locker rooms and in our apartments that we give these guys. If we can create that kind of culture where it's for family friendly, understanding what we want to do in our community and how we want to handle ourselves in our community, it really, really showed this year for me, because not only did these guys do a great job, they were in the community so much more, fans, kids. We were giving out Move Milk to at every school event that we went to, and the kids were loving that. Sometimes the guys got more sore playing at the kids games than at the practices with me. So they were trying to get after our guys. I had to shut it down a couple of those schools. They were a little aggressive, but other than that, man, our guys, they truly embraced the community, but they embraced the culture and everything we're trying to build and just stand on. And when you can do that, when you get a unit like that together that can actually do that and really buy into that, man, you get this kind of feeling that we've had all season long, that something special was going to happen. And something did special happen. We, for the first time in almost 20 years, had our first, Eastern Conference Championship in first playoff game. We had 2 of them this year, 10 games when we only get 8 usually in our arena. And so it was a plus for the arena. And I'm so happy that, the Vibrant was happy with us and how we are here. And, man, we just want to make it. We want to continue where we left off and just try to build this thing and make it even more of a powerhouse.
Coach, I don't know if I told you the story. I may have, but Stud Rudd came out to the house one of the days, and the kids are off and they're outside, and he got done with the segment up here, and I was doing something else, and he went and he left, and all of a sudden my oldest came upstairs, and he's like, hey, and it's like 20 minutes later, he's like, Dad, are you in a commercial break? I'm like, yeah. He goes, Stud Rudd's playing basketball with us. I'm like, what? He's like, he's been playing 2-on-2 with us for the last 20 minutes. And I look outside, and there he is, like playing basketball with my boys. And it's just like, it's that kind of little things that your guys did, not just with my kids here, but like in the community with kids after games and all those kind of things that you could tell made a lasting impact. So I know you made a lot of fans this year. I cannot wait for next season. I appreciate you. I'm going to get you out here next year. I'm going to get you to the house. We're going to have some like donuts or something. There next week. There you go. Be there after the game. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to follow up with you on that. So, cause I can't wait, but I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. Have a great off season. Get healthy. Don't hurt yourself anymore. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Appreciate you always. Thanks for all of the support all year long for us, buddy.
Awesome. You bet. That is Cory Ross, the head coach of the Quad City Steamwheelers, joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Wheeler season is done, but I think what they did this year is just another huge building block for what's going to happen in the future. Good things to come. And congrats to Cory for the IFL Coach of the Year. We got more to get to. Coming up, we'll continue our look at some high school football previews from around the area. That and much more. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. High school football season is quickly approaching. We are 1 week from this Friday away from the opening week of high school football on both sides of the river. Of course, each and every day here on Off the Air, we're previewing a different high school from Iowa and Illinois, and we're heading back to the Three Rivers today and talking to a familiar face and a good man, because Coach LeMay joins me from Sterling Newman, and this is not the first time I've seen Coach LeMay since last season. Coach, before anything, I want to thank you. You bummed a ride with that guy, John Schlemmer, I think, and headed down for my dad's memorial golf outing. First and foremost, I appreciate you taking the time and effort to do so, and I hope you had a good time. I hope you hit it well.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun to get with Coach Schlemmer and come over for a great event. You know, I said it earlier to you. I don't see why I'd miss that ever again. It was so much fun to just connect with people from the Quad Cities and a lot of familiar faces, and a really well-run event. I would go ahead and strongly suggest anybody that's looking to play golf or doesn't even like to play golf, show up for that, because it was great. And that was maybe one of the times this summer where I did hit the ball okay. So that was good. So.
I remember Coach Schlemmer was pretty cocky about his team and making fun of Coach Welch, which is always, I enjoy that. Anytime you can make fun of Coach Welch, I'm all about that as well. So no, I love hearing that. Like I always tell people, come golf. If you're not good at golf, like, you'll still have fun. I promise you'll still have fun. So we appreciate you doing it. How was the summer before we get into this season and Sterling Newman football? What was the summer like, numbers wise, energy wise? You guys are coming off a great season with a ton of momentum for the Comets.
The summer was great. Kids worked really hard. They showed up all the time that we had on there. We always tell them this summer, and it's the same for me. You know, I want them to enjoy their summer. They're going to go on vacation, all that kind of stuff. Do that, but man, they really took notice this summer and showing up as a group, and they did a lot of extra stuff on their own, which is always a good thing. And I just say the big thing about summer is they really enjoyed being around each other. And I think if you can handle that part of it, then a lot of things blossom from that. And I think they really got going on that early and often, and we were able to compete against a few different teams and joint practices, which gave us a chance to kind of see where we're at with our, physicality and just what we've been working on. And, all those things are great. The summer and the IHSA is good. We never really used the 25 contact days before, but, being at 20 this summer, we used all of them and thought it was really, really good. So.
Success from last season, and obviously that's something to build on, and obviously Newman is far from a one-year wonder or anything like that, of great story tradition. But what does it do for the kids inside the building and inside the program, the guys coming back to see where it can get to and where it should get to maybe at Newman High School?
Yeah, I mean, they were a part of a special group last year. We had some awesome leaders, so I think that's the big thing, is that all those young guys and even the leaders this year got a chance to see what that was like, and kind of be more of that Newman team. It's been a little different over the last several years with me, at the helm or in charge. But I can promise you this: the traditions, the culture, all that stuff's very much the same. It wouldn't change. It's just a matter of what it looks like on Friday nights. And now we're in year 4, and I think those guys got a chance to see that success, in the schematics, and they got to see that. Now I feel like it's going to just keep snowballing from here on out. And I think, you win a playoff game or, win conference, those types of things, just they're contagious. Winning is just that. And I think the kids, buy into that. And I'm definitely excited for this year for sure. There's a lot to be excited about, but last year was definitely a step in the right direction. So
you think about Newman football and you think about running the football and that power game. And I know you got some big uglies, and I say that term nicely, coming back, and you kind of smile because that helps. It helps to win up front in the trenches. Where will the strength of this year's team be? And you look at some familiar faces coming back, some names coming back. It seems like the trenches should be maybe a starting point or a building block for this team.
Yeah, we got 4 kids that were starting on the offensive line back, so that's pretty good. Defensive line wise, those guys can all play there. Defensively, on all levels, the front, the middle, and back, we got guys that are returning and played significant reps. And then offensively, that just helps when they have that continuity and they know how to block for one another. And the running backs now have an idea of how those guys are able to grab the angles or go at those angles. And then, of course, the big thing is having a quarterback that's been there now his 3rd year in Evan.
Yeah.
And the way he's built that rapport with different guys to throw the ball to, and just the way he hands the ball off, how he runs the offense. I mean, it's invaluable, and he's totally all in. He's one of our captains this year, and he's just he's a good one to have. So, mix that with all the, things I've said, it makes for a good situation. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at a guy like him, and I don't call it on Friday nights anymore, but it's a name that I've said a ton. I actually, when doing a little research, double checked and looked like he's on the Jess Settles plan. It seems like he's been there for 8 years, where he's using extra emoji. But talk about that, because it's not going to be the run and shoot offense, and that's aging myself from way back in the Houston Oiler and Warren Moon days. But you're not going to fling it around a ton. But you talked about just knowing the offense and knowing where to go to it. That's got to be huge with Evan.
Yeah, that's that. Again, I can't express how important that is. We're going into year 4, and this guy's been now 3 years of those 4 years, so he knows the terminology, the verbiage. It's great watching him in the huddle. He's got more command of it. The way he moves people around after the huddle that are in the wrong spots, if they are, all that kind of stuff. And on top of it, he's really precise. If we are throwing the ball, it doesn't have to be, a deep ball or anything along those lines. He just knows how to get the ball out to the guy. He anticipates, and the receivers are really building off of that. And then on top of it, with the run game, he has an idea of how to go ahead and make himself more of a threat, which is something that we've been wanting him to do. And that's something that he's definitely progressed with. He's changed his body over the summer. And I think when you look at his work ethic in general, and with all the different sports and being in like kind of those clutch situations on the basketball court, on baseball, on the mound, being the number one pitcher on a state, team, or made it down to state. And this last year, that's invaluable. And he's really got a good head on his shoulders and grasp everything. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely correct. Mike LeMay joining me right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, I've been talking to a lot of Three Rivers coaches, and then we had the kickoff party the other night down at the other bar with View from the West, and it's like I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with it, but it's going to be such a good conference. Not that it isn't usually a really good conference, but I'm trying to look and see who's. Like, there's no layup on the schedule, if that makes any sense. Talk about the conference as a whole, and it's a daunting task, but it helps in the long run. I know that for sure. Your thoughts on the Three Rivers and the road ahead?
Yeah, I'm very pleased to be in this conference. It's a very tough conference, like you had mentioned. You look across the 9 weeks, and you're just like, well, this one's going to be tough. Oh, man, we got to go down there, and they're going to come here. That's going to be a big game. And the way it's all spaced out too is just it's daunting nonetheless. And I think that's a testament to all the coaches we have in the conference and the type of athletes that are out there. It's not like a one size fit all type of offense or defense that you're seeing. You see different looks, which really keeps you sharp and prepping, where you have to get used to what you're going to see and try to make sure you get the best scout look for your kids as you go out there. And even on the crossover side, I guess the Mississippi division or the big side, we're playing most of those teams, and I think this is since I've been here, we played Princeton every year, and they've run the conference, and that makes it pretty tough, having them, especially starting the season with them. So I say across the board, we got great coaches, great athletes, great schemes, but man, it really does prep you for the postseason, if you're able to make one of those runs and get out of it. So,
no, absolutely. You look at that conference, and you mentioned Princeton. A week one game, you host Princeton. Obviously, it's going to be a huge game. Do you like that early on to kind of see where you measure up, or is that? No, I don't think any coach is ready. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's ready for week one, or if they feel they're ready for week one. But talk about it right out of the bat, and is that something the boys got to embrace of a huge challenge to start the season?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of expectations here. It's been that way for a long time, and we're always going to challenge the kids. And I think this is a great challenge. And having it last year and knowing it again, that's a tough opponent to play. Week one, it's kind of built into that point. And now I like it that way. I'm one of those people that likes kind of the challenge, and I hope that I have that rub off onto the kids that we have, and having them embrace that and know that this is going to be a cool deal. It's week one. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, and that's something that you should embrace, is that challenge. And quite honestly, they need to be put in those pressure situations, and seeing how they react in the first week kind of tells you a lot about your team. How you're going to execute. You got good discipline. I think that's all the stuff that we're looking forward to week one. It seems like if I'm being honest with you, it can't come soon enough. You just want to play somebody else. But I'm happy that we are, still, 10 days away at this point. We could use all the prep, but at the same point, oh gosh, I think we just want to line up under the lights and get after it. So it's a great challenge, but challenge accepted. That's what the kids know, and that's what it's going to be. So
kind of doubling back with Princeton, kind of talk about not just Coach Pearson and what he does, but you look around this conference, and you as a coach in this conference, and you're tested every night, not just your players, but coaching against these guys. It's fun to get to know you guys and to know the minds and how they work and all those kind of things. Do you enjoy that as a coach to challenge yourself against the Ryan Pearsons of the world and the head coaches that are in your conference each and every night?
Yeah, I do. I think it's always funny because when I was coaching with John, he was like, man, I went from like dark hair and hair on my head to, gray hair and no hair, So, that's the kind of stuff it does. And now that you're in that position, it's kind starting to kind of come around. I don't have as many gray hairs as him, and I do have hair, but regardless, it is a challenge. I do love it. I mean, I'm a football guy. I love watching film. I just love the X's and O's, the scheme behind it, trying to think of the angle that you can provide. And I don't know, it's something that kind of, it gets my adrenaline going. So that's the thing that I just crave. You know, when you go out for that game and you think about, hey, did I prep well? Did we make sure the kids are in the right spots? Did all the coaching staff get that done? And that's the challenge that this conference provides, you know, and the coaches that we're going against every week. And it's almost it's an addiction, if we'll put it that way. You know, I want to have more. I want to have it, and that's what we have. So
no, it's a good addiction to have. I will say, Coach Slemmers really went downhill. Like, he's let himself go. He looks awful. All right.
Yeah.
No comment.
Well, yeah. No comment. He's still. I talk to him all the time. He still runs frequently. I think he's looking great, trimmer than ever.
He is.
He's given as you were saying Sunday, maybe. Yeah, Tootsie Pops. Maybe he's giving Morrissey a run for best looking coach in the Western Big Six. You know, I don't know.
Let's not get carried away. Come on, let's pump the brakes. Mike LeMay joining me right now here in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. One more before I let you go. The bearded look used to be a thing for you, and it's not anymore. We were talking about it before we came on. Where'd the beard go? And I think it was a really cool team building moment. I don't know if it's a good look for you per se, but kind of take us through the beard and where it all went to.
Well, yeah, I mean, now I'm looking at this Ted Lasso look is what everyone keeps saying. But we went up to Camp Benson this last weekend. That's our father-son annual outing. Great tradition at Newman. And typically the kids want to shave their heads. I mean, I did it when I was in high school when we went up there. It's nothing that they have to do. Some of them didn't, but most of them do. And one kid said, "Oh, I won't shave my head." And I'm like, "Oh, that's fine. You don't have to do it." But, you know, some of the kids are like, if he shaves his head, then you got to shave your beard or we're going to shave it, you know. And they came out with some weird haircuts. Some looked like Krusty the Clown, you know, all that kind of stuff. And this kid came out and he had a patch on the side of his head and the rest of it was bald. And I'm like, okay, it's deal's a deal. I got to own up to it. So I sat back and they started trimming it, and they left a little patch on the side of my beard, and I left a mustache. And I got home, you should see my wife's face. My kids loved it, but man, I thought I was in some deep trouble. So I thought, well, you know what? I got to leave maybe just the mustache, going back to the old Coach Poposi days. So yeah. We'll see if it will ride. You can already tell the beard's coming in, and we'll see if that comes in the way I usually like it. So
I love it. I tell you, I used to, man, when I was younger, all my buddies would like shave their head there in the summer. And I'm like, okay. And then when you got ears this size, Coach, you can't shave your head. Like it's no matter what your head looks like, your ears don't allow it to happen. So like I told you, God's shaving my head from the back forward, I think, is what's happened every week for me. But hey, I appreciate the time. I will bug you again about next year. We'll get you back down here to golf. And it's good karma. Yep. Like I'm telling you, you golf in the outing, boom, state championship. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. You'll take it.
I'll take that karma all the time.
Yes, absolutely. Well, best of luck. Again, this week from this Friday, the first game for the Newman Comets. Appreciate your time, my friend. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. This is awesome, and keep doing your good work. It's great to hear all the other coaches and players talk, man. It's awesome.
I appreciate it. That is Mike LeMay, the head coach of the Sterling Newman Comets. They open the season a week from this Friday at home when they welcome Princeton. That will be one of those marquee games, week one of the high school football season here in our area. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. High school football season right around the corner. We are continuing that countdown by previewing several schools each day here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Today on the Iowa side, we're going to finish off the city of Davenport. We'll head over to Davenport West where we find our good friend Dominique Nunn joining me right now. Coach, first and foremost, thank you for doing this. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Hey, you one of my favorites, so if I didn't have time, I'd make something for you.
I love that. I love to hear that. Well, before we get going on the season and the Falcons and all that kind of stuff, I'd love to find out how the summer went. Kind of talk to me about your team this summer, what it looked like, what you guys felt you got accomplished as we get ready now for the fall.
Well, the boys were warned in the spring that this was going to be a summer of going back to blue-collar football, or as we term it, red-collar football. We're going to get away from the glitz and glamour, and, this is a generation that just the way things are, like, they're all about the recognition, and the recognition is okay, but we wanted to make our focus about the work. So we put a heavy emphasis on heavy conditioning this summer. As we're not going to have, our sideline's not going to look like Dowling, where we got 80 or 90 guys over there. Mm-hmm. So the 60 or 70 guys we have, they have to be in some of the best physical shape of their life. So we made a big push for that this summer. I would say at this point in the summer, our boys have probably done well over, and this is just a rough estimate, 5,000 yards of conditioning.
Wow.
We're doing sets of 150s every day. We're doing cross fields. We're doing 300s. We're doing a little bit of speed endurance. So we're doing a little cross training. We're doing some football stuff and checking those boxes, but we're also incorporating a little bit of track and field conditioning in there too. So we need our boys to be able to last and run, and that was a deficiency on our team last year. And I believe conditioning and being in shape led to some unfortunate injuries. So we're trying to do everything we can this summer to make sure we're prepared and make sure we're preventing those things from, to the best of what we can control from happening.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at it too, Coach, and it's all about buy-in. Kind of talk about that, because that's not the fun message that kids want to hear during the summer, but did they dive in, and did they embrace the challenge, if you will?
I think there was a huge surge in the summer, but I think our core group of leaders, their work started in January when we were having Saturday workouts, and we were getting guys in. And the numbers were low at first, and then guys would trickle in, and they would trickle in. But all that select group of 12 to 15 guys, I think you could see by summer they improved as athletes. So I think after the first or second week, when you get out on the field and the guys who weren't there get to see how those guys progressed, it made everybody want to show up a little bit more. And I think even as an assistant coach, this is probably the summer in the weight room that I've seen the weight room most filled on a consistent basis. I think some past years, we'd have some good days here, but the consistency lacked severely. And I think we just have huge buy-in. Guys buying into the team concept and showing up for the team, and a little bit less of, guys trying to do things on their own. They're staying connected. They've done a great job of staying connected. We've actually had some, funny thing. I was talking to my athletic director, last week? We actually had to end up canceling the practice due to heat. And I got in and met with her the next morning, and she goes, "Coach, I had our secretary pulling out, and little do you know, there's 20, 25 boys out on the field, and they're kind of conducting their own thing." Wow. And when you got things like that happening multiple times, happening throughout the spring and summer, your team's usually going to end up in good shape. When you have those self-starters and guys that are taking initiative to do the work on their own. So
absolutely,
that was a great sign.
Yeah, and you look at it too, Coach. You have a group, and probably some of these seniors that experienced or are around for 7-2 and the postseason and 4-5 and good runs. So there's that motivation. And then there's the motivation of last season and not tasting defeat. Is that kind of what motivates? Is a little bit of both? Because some of these guys have experienced the highs and the lows, so they probably know what they are both like, if that makes sense.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think a lot of these guys were either freshmen during the playoff run, or they were sophomores during our 5-4 season, so they've seen that. But you also have the contrast that you have guys in the building that have not won a game at lower level or varsity level, so, and I think, even my full circle picture, when I left Central to come over to West, West was 0-9 my last year at Central. We won 2 games, and they were against West. My first year at West, Coach Cruzy had some things in place. The boys made some improvements. And even though it went from 0-9 to 1-8, I think a lot of those games are in that 1-8 season. The margin of victory between our opponents closed a little bit. And then we had things all kind of come together. We had some luck on our side during that playoff season. You had a group that was tried and tested for 2 or 3 years. A lot of those boys had to step in and key roles as sophomores. And I think by the time they got to a senior, they were polished. So we're kind of in both spaces right now. We have a lot of sophomore guys, a lot of younger guys that we're going to lean on and contribute. But we also have some key junior and senior guys that still aren't leaving our cupboard pretty bare. So we're in a good spot as a program. We're focusing on now, but we have our future very close behind us, and we're prepping. We're kind of covering all bases there. So good energy in the program. We're not super senior heavy, so we definitely have some good youth going for us right now.
Absolutely. Dominique Nunn joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, what will it look like this year? What when you see, and I know there's still time before season begins and all that, but what will some of the strengths of this team look like if you guys are to be successful this season? What will it look like for the Falcons?
We're going to hang our hat on the running game. We're going to make that the base of what we do. But we've emphasized all summer to our offensive and defensive linemen, we're going to go as you go. We need you guys to be the most well-versed unit on this team. As a former running back, I've always thought, like, any team goes as far as the trenches take you. Your O-line and your D-line is going to be the heart of your team, and we need those guys to hold up for us and do what they need to do. But just looking at the full picture, again, I just want to – coming into year 3, as you know, it was my first year as a head coach. Got the job kind of late. Coach Cruzy ended up stepping down, so I got the job late that May, late that June. I feel like this is the first year that my full vision and imprint I can kind of place down on the team. The last couple years, I've done a mix of juggling some of the things I want to do, but also maintaining some of the things that were in place just due to, the weird spot that I came in at. But I think, getting coaches situated with my vision where I need them to be, getting the right guys in the building, getting guys in the building who are supporting myself and supporting the views of the program, without any alternative motives, or without anything that's hanging over from the last regime. So it's nice when you can get in and put your own blueprint down, vet the right guys in the program for the vision that I have and get going forward. And I feel like this all season has given me some great opportunities to do that, some great opportunities to reshape things in the program. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Coach, give me some names of some guys that we'll hear a lot this fall. It's fun for me because I got a little more time with this show and this platform. So give me some name of those guys that have been working hard and in their weight room and in conditioning a lot and guys that we're going to hear a lot from on Friday night.
First and foremost, I think I would be doing a disservice if I didn't start with my quarterback. So I'm going to start with Carson Huggins, who also happens to be our returning interception leader from last year. But I said it before all summer, there's one position that has been earned and everything else is up for grabs. And that's because Carson took care of his business and he earned that way back in as far as January or February, just showing up, doing the right thing, studying in the classroom, getting guys together, asking the right questions. And I think also, he has a humongous chip on his shoulder. As you might have known, we've had some guys transfer out of the building, and take advantage of open enrollment in Davenport, which is there for them to use. But I think within that, there was a lot of doubt on our quarterback situation for this year. There was a lot of doubt on our O-line situation for this year. And those guys have taken that absolutely personally, and it's fueled their work in all off season. And I'm excited for those guys to be able to earn some respect for themselves from their peers. That's kind of the calling card for all of us and what we do. It's the admiration and respect of our peers. And I think those boys, they channeled and harnessed that energy the right way. But Carson Huggins is going to lead us at quarterback. You're going to have Lucas Workman and Wyatt Sievers, two extremely hardworking juniors, two of our best leaders that are going to anchor our O-line. You're going to have C.J. Simmons, who's going to be big for us in our backfield. You're going to have J.J. Burge, who's also going to be huge for us in our backfield. You're going to have some of our few seniors, Adam Anderson, who's going to be huge for us at linebacker core and also on our offensive side of the ball. But man, there's numerous guys. We have sophomores that are going to contribute. We're looking for Manny Mendoza to step up huge for us in our defensive backfield and as far as playing slot receivers. But those are just a few guys to name. This year, we're in a good spot to where we not only have captains, that are just checking the box for a coin toss or wearing a C on the back of their hat. We have true leaders. And that's in the freshman class, sophomore class, junior class, and our core group, small group of core seniors are doing a hell of a job of pushing forward. So those are guys you're going to be look out for, or we're going to be leaning on to give us some leadership and make sure accountability on the field, in the classroom, and in the school is being handled. So they're going to be an extension of our coaching staff.
You kind of mentioned it a little bit, Coach, but I wanted to follow up on it with the fact that they might have a chip on their shoulder. Kind of talk about that, because sometimes the best seasons you have is when, people or the public or others count you out. Kind of talk about this team, because it sounds like they're working to prove maybe others wrong. Talk about the motivation they have when it comes to that.
Well, we tell the boys too, proving others wrong is cool, but make sure everything you're doing for yourself. So, you're proving yourself right, that you are capable, you are talented enough, you are skilled enough, you can put in the work to have value, right? So it's you can use the extrinsic things to motivate, but that needs to come from internally, and I think that's where this group is at. They have internalized both, some guys deciding to leave the program, but also, the coaching turnover, that's motivation for all of us to push forward and go, hey, we're just as capable of doing this as any other group. We're just as capable of competing as any other group of players anywhere, and everybody in the building is for everyone in the building and about everything in the building. And that's the most important part right now, so we always say if you need someone else to motivate you for you to have success for yourself, then you need to reevaluate things. So I think, we have so much things internally that we're motivated for this season. Anything else outside is just extra fuel, but we have goals. We have things we want to set our sights on. We want to make improvements in the program. And we're doing that. We're doing that without the fear of failure. We're not afraid to fail. We've seen everything, plus having more respect for winning. I think the football gods gave us what we deserved last year. When you're at a school like West, when you're talking about maybe 30 or 35 wins since 2008, when you have winning seasons at West, you have to respect football and know those things just happen. They don't come easy. You can't go guaranteeing wins or guaranteeing playoff bursts. You have to earn everything day by day, Friday night by Friday night, week by week. And some of that starts not only during the season, but how you're conducting yourself inside the classroom, how you're conducting yourself on the field. Like being a winner, you can't just turn it off, and I think when you're blessed with such a talented group, as much talent as we had last year, you can kind of lose sight of that. You know what I mean? You can sit back on talent, but it's 2025. And all these teams have talent. So the outlier is going to be the guys that can last, the guys that have the mental fortitude to fight through adversity. And, those are the things we're preaching and stressing.
Coach, before I let you go, I do want to talk to you about and I've talked to the other, I've talked to Coach Height and Coach Berg about the rivalry in the city of Davenport. And it's funny, I did a best rivalries in the state of Illinois during the summer when we were bored one week and kind of ranked those. And you look at Iowa and these rivalries between and you've been on all sides of it almost with being at Central and then being at West. They're different. And you look at last season, while it wasn't the season that West wanted, the two best, most competitive games were against North and against Central. Talk to me about that rivalry. You've been around it. You've known different sides of it. It's special. It's competitive. It's fierce. It's a fun rivalry, isn't it?
I think the most important thing about the rivalry is, it is a great thing for the city. It is a great thing for the kids. A lot of them have at one point in time went to school together or played on youth football teams together. But I think where you have to be careful of getting yourself in the trap as a rivalry is you can't hang the success and the ebbs and flows of your entire season on the rivalry. I think that's something, that hurt us last year. We put so much effort and energy into beat North. That when that game didn't happen the way we turned out, our energy kind of took a tank, and it took a tank at the time that we needed to bounce back. We needed to have short-term memory and move on. It was a competitive game. The same thing with Central. Even though we were banged up with a bunch of injuries, down to a bunch of guys, you're still talking about a one-score game. So I think the kids are always going to be motivated for that, but you still want to try to get them prepared for North and Central as if they are an obstacle. You have to prepare for them like every other opponent. They're in the way of us accomplishing our goal, and trying to look at it any more than that, you want to keep yourself pretty even. You don't want to get too up, too down. You want to use the crowd and use the energy of the city for those 2 weeks, but you want to make sure you're keeping yourself focused on the task at hand, on the big picture goal as well. So I think, again, rivalries are great. Me being a Joliet Catholic kid, like I can go back to, how fun those Mount Carmel games were, how fun those St. Rita games were, how fun when I was at Providence, when Providence played Joliet Catholic and we had to bring in extra bleachers. You're talking about 4,000, 5,000 people for a high school football game. Those kind of moments when the stage is that big, you really have to focus on all the small things, or it can overwhelm you.
Oh, absolutely. Coach, I appreciate your time. What do you guys got? You got a scrimmage against Dubuque Senior or something like that this weekend?
Scrimmage at Dubuque Senior. Younger guys are starting at 4, and then the older guys will be going about 6:45.
I love it. And then, of course, it's ready to go. Game week is next week, and the season begins. Coach, I always appreciate your time. Wishing you guys the best of luck. Stay healthy this year. Rock and roll, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
I appreciate you, my man. Huge fan of yours. I appreciate everything you do for sports in general, for the Quad Cities and for the sport of football. If there's anything I can ever do for you, don't hesitate to reach out and ask if I can be a resource to you in any way. It's a done deal. Like I said, you're one of my favorites, and I appreciate everything you do and all the work you put in.
I appreciate the kind words, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, my man. Take it easy.
All right, that is head coach Dominique Nunn, over at Davenport West. The Falcons looking to fly high again this fall as well. It'll be fun to watch. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities, Wednesday, August 20th. It's been a fun show, a jam-packed show today as we continue to work our way through the month of August and on our way to football season. Oh, man, I can't wait. It's right around the corner. A couple things to kind of wrap up with. I want to remind everyone, again, the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet is coming up this Sunday at the Rock Island Botanical Center. It's honestly one of my favorite nights of the year. Great group of coaches. Quincy coach, Coach Little was up here last weekend on Sunday for the View from the West kickoff party. He's coming back again this Sunday as well. So great group of guys. We'll have a bunch of fun. I'll make fun of them. They'll try to make fun of me. It won't work. I'll win. That's how it goes. But we'll have a lot of fun. And you guys can go out there. It's the Rock Island Botanical Center. 5:30 is when the doors open. So come on out, get a great dinner, check out a preview of what should be a fun, exciting, intriguing year in the Western Big Six. So again, Rock Island Botanical Center, doors open at 5:30. Come on out. It's well worth the price of admission. And also, I do believe MC22 will be airing the event as well. So, and we'll have more with MC22 coming up next week as well. Their play-by-play team, John Marks and Pete Ivanek, entering 20 years of calling football and football games together. So we'll chat with them. I'm excited to do some things with MC22. I get to do things during the season with them as well. So we'll do a little bit of that next week as well. But get out to the banquet coming up on Sunday night. Also, if you're going to be heading out to the Labor Day Parade in Rock Island, I know it's not this Monday, it's the following Monday, but Off the Air is going to be in the parade. So and we got some fun things to pass out, I believe. So more of that next week as well. But put that on your calendar if you're in the Quad Cities or a Rock Island native that goes over to the parade like my family has for so many years. It should be a lot of fun coming up on Labor Day Monday. Again, I want to thank our guest, Jake Brend, all the way over from Ireland, previewing Iowa State, Kansas State, coming up Saturday. just 3 days away from college football. Also, want to thank the IFL Coach of the Year, Cory Ross, for joining us on the show today. Our two off-the-air high school football previews, Sterling Newman, and their head coach, Mike LeMay, and then Dominique Nunn and Davenport West. Really enjoyed the conversations with them. If you missed any of it, go check it out. Also, check out yesterday's show as well, the View from the West kickoff party on Sunday. All of that can be found on the YouTube page and, of course, on the audio platforms as well. So go check those out. Tomorrow, Chad Leistico is going to be on the show. Ty Taylor is going to be on the show. We'll have some more previews. We got a lot more to get to tomorrow. Friday, Pat Angerer will be on the show. And a whole bunch more. So next week, Gary Dolphin will be on the show as we get ready for, it'll be game week next week for both the Illini and the Hawkeyes. So we will have tons to talk about next week as well. Also, I just read during one of the breaks that the Bears' last preseason game with the Kansas City Chiefs, it sounds like both teams will start their starters. So that will be intriguing. We'll talk about that throughout the weekend as well. So I want to thank everybody for watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it. We want to thank our guests. The coach is always kind enough to come on and do this. And last but certainly not least, we want to thank our sponsors. There they are on the screen. Hungry Hobo, Rafferty Funeral Home, Godfathers, the Quad City Steamwheelers, Snoop's Chips and Salsa and Queso, and it's so delicious. And then Mobile Party Experience as well. And really excited because coming up real soon, Skiles Driving School in East Moline will be a proud sponsor of the show as well. We'll do some things with them throughout the year, including a drive of the week when it comes to high school football and the most impressive drive of every Friday night. So all that, much more to get to. Thank these guys for everything they do and allowing us to do this each and every weekday here in the Quad Cities. It's Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Enjoy your Wednesday, Quad Cities. We'll see you back here for a brand new show coming up tomorrow.